ejamuna my researcher say mo ye qualitative na mo say in-depth analysis no an say bi wo kra na on kan kyerɛw but nation ni trim obetimi abuso obi say oh nana Dankwah say obi ye kremoni ana kristoni ebegyina so amoato aba manana nana Dankwah betimi aka oh David me dem hwɛ nipa no obetimi aye adwuma nanso na bi ehye mitrim pa say eye kremoni ana kristoni no ehu hia me pa ye will be wo Ghana hasa mo ne nkofo hia obetimi aka ne say oh ente sa abas na ente sa.
In fact, I think it is more prevalent in Ghana than in the West. Yes, in terms of their true intention. The reason why we know this is that it be almost said, sometimes religion and not ethnicity no, they are less than 1%. But so twist the question differently. Now, besides say, religion or Paco Edomono, Emma influence or influence then the number goes higher. You see, because you change the question in the way you are not being intrusive. And most importantly, look, it is our brothers and sisters who are Christians who are more guilty about that than the Muslims. Muslims will tell you that this is what he will do and he will do it.
Okay. Muslims they also want pewasema on meto ama we are meto at least.
Yes.
Betimi aka no kreka krakyerɛw.
Yes.
But Christopher ne dey obetimi de one on nano afafa ho.
Because I feel say it's not cool. It's not cool to say you vote based on religion. But meanwhile, he will vote because of that in some cases.
Wait. Edru maybe cry no ebi di omo de bani na mu ma omo kan say ade na be ko second round na cry ba omi akra lead John Mahama kakra e ma ho nsem bebre baaye MPP for ka say o omo hwehwe mu cry che say omo benya 140 seats na che say e ko second round na ba omi etu John Dramani Mahama ba ye no twetwe nkomo o kan say Bibian Sesaye, John Mahama ebe wini. Mibusa obe mprensia. Se abatuo no ebeko one touch ana. Usi so maye hu se ebeko one touch de mummu hu no. Oka ye numpo no MPP for dodo na ka se uye loto forecaster na wonim dia wo ka. Ye to abani wie ye no. Ye hu o ma na omutiti fie na no mo ka de omo ka. Onsema o predict ye ni nyina ba mu pepepe a wugu so eka. But meaning say MPP for no so internal contest na here. Right now we can say Brian Agyapong, Honorable Dr. Yao Duchum, Honorable Agyapong, and His Excellency Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia. Omune and Naya say Omeyu Omuti. First of all, we are surprised of the names Nana.
Oh David. I wasn't surprised at all. There was no doubt Bawumia was going to contest from what he was saying after losing the election. Kennedy also who said, chance, I'm sure he can win the flag bearer race. Then we have people like Educhum. Say they don't want to be part of the extreme left and right. They want to walk fine line in the middle. Maybe they want to pull MPP away from the extreme candidates. Then you have Brian Agyapong, who is a new entrant, a very resourceful person in the race. You share Brian Agyapong, I think no room for Educhum so be a wabum for or has a ABS or name Finfia, but not MPP no for na Omumpe Bawumia, Omumpe Kennedy, Omumpe New Direction. So you expect to say this race will be tougher than the last time.
Wow. Okasa top for say. So we then come in and say a simple ma Bawumia and Agyapong. Because we know me you muti that and then I can say tough. A bit depending see the Educhum any Brian Agyapong better.
So omunya mu vote every Bawumia nchenya ebema raise night close. But so omunya mu vote every kay de wa one fi aba one member fa ho awe pan.
Metiwasia Agyapong ne Bawumia say omuna last time na yebeka so omu call manim no. Say Brian Champo ana say educhum omutimi pushi na omunya Bawumia dia na say e pushi ken. Nemum say omutimi nya free ken honso dia na say e pushi Bawumia, but I am sure say dodo na wo mo standi no mo support to Dr. Bawumia 2024. It impese mbusa den ne betimi asesa ma wona no mo ka say Bawumia is the next to lead. Afi de o me o madwen say ye yan kasa pese ye ko. E chere politically.
They don't have confidence in the two main protagonists. And I think they feel MPP needs a new direction. A direction that is the way of Ken or Bawumia. That's what they feel. As to what that is, what the MPP will feel and want, that's $1 million question.
But kakra wo monitor any MPP delegacy. Is it dear Sebi? What is our share about Miasha Dr. Briner? Obia your potential. But right now, who say Agyapong and some no air cosro MPC be a you manim a be air train you maybe. Mibusa if we say a delegate question and Mibusa. Because now no Dr. Bawumia nanka say yi efrim. Sabi Dr. Bawumia no ofri esrem oye muslimi ni ntina Ghana for Antwa manana.
Look, there are so many onyema bebre account for somebody winning or losing an election. Sometimes enya oma moto abano kwa na omuhia o. Oma amutina afie no. Dienti ena amutina afie. Say Obi enye very enthusiastic about his candidate. It will take a bulldozer to pull him to go and vote. But those who turn out to vote, they normally, will vote. And religion and ethnicity sometimes is not a big factor. We're not saying it's not a factor. Absolutely not. Because Osha said post-election, it is clear there is element of people in our voting blocker, religion was somehow important for them. Among both Muslims and Christians. There are Muslims whose religion of Mahmoud Bawumia made them vote for him. There are some. Untimikasi Obia didn't have that kind of reason. And Musah Omotuma Mahama because he was a Christian. There's no doubt about that. But the can say, share the number of people who are Muslims in the country, about 21%. And those who are Christians, nearly 71%. So a small number of 71% will have a bigger impact on the outcome than even a bigger proportion of the Muslims who are 21%. So, Timothy, I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. The main person said, almost see religion play important in their decision. It be a Christopher, it be a Muslims. In the end, funny said, 5% of Christians say important. And a Christians 71%. Who multiplier, the effect of the Christians is much, much impactful on the outcome than the effect of Muslims who want to vote for their candidate because he's a Muslim.
Yes, I agree.
So on that basis, it's a number game. And the poll shows that nearly, 18% of Christians say religion was somehow important or very important for them. 18%.
Okay.
Over Muslims that number is 28%. So 28%. But 28% of 21% are yen fa pen ni paper. Yen calculate it. 0.28 times 0.21. The effect near 6%.
Okay.
But 0.18 times 0.71. The effect is 13%.
Wow.
So also 13 minus 12. That is about 7% more Christians. So assuming say those who were Muslims will vote Bawumia, and those who were Christians will vote against Bawumia. It means there are more people who will vote against him who are Christians compared to the Muslims.
Nese me de ba forma o share a Christopher mo Ghana ken kan wo ma wo de tennis wa emu be 7 ebeka se me Christoni ana me kwa sorry se wo ba muslimi fu mu a emu 10 no benya be 2 ana mu 3 se obeka to se me muslimi ni
sanity
ena wo hwe muslimi fu no nso a out of ebia 18% a yesusu se out of bed 20 whatever you say omu ye nkremofono wona wo mo se ono de asori a nipa ne kono ehu hia no as compared to a Christopher de no o share Christopher wo mo dodo no na utiti free ma utimi hu se wona ebi omo ka se me ye Christo ni enti me de Christo sam hu hia me enti bia meto atia ba omia no ebe kosoro achai muslimi ni osimi ye muslimi ni enti meto ama me nua muslimi ni enti wona omoka se ba omia na oye kremoni enu enti ni anto ama no mu di kana.
You see, partly true because Ushe Baumia base no MPP base. MPP base account. Accounts no are closely 90% Christian.
Okay.
So we say or a Christian na on to a bar, he's more likely to be an account than other tribes. So you cannot, for Baumia in particular, because on the base near account and the base is also Christian. And the Christians outnumber the Muslims who are saying that religion was important to them. And we know those people are Christians and Baumia isn't a Christian.
Okay. And Chimami Sam push you beam. In that case, you know, Nese Agyapong my researcher, some more year qualitative na, must say in-depth analysis no one say be okra na on kanchrew, but nation ni trim. Ubeti be abuso obi say oh nana Dankwah say obi ye krimonia na Christoni ebe gina so amoa to aba manana. Nana Dankwah betimi aka oh David me dem hwe nipa no betimi aye adwuma nanso na bi ehye mitrim pa se eye kremoni ana Christoni no ehu hia me pa ye wo bi wo Ghana ha sa mo ne nkofo hia obetimi aka ne se oh ente sa abas na etesa.
In fact, I think it is more prevalent in Ghana than in the West. Yes, in terms of their true intention. The reason why we know this is that it be almost said, sometimes religion and ethnicity no, they are less than 1%. But so we twist the question differently. Now we say religion na odpako edomono ema influence or influence wana, then the number goes higher. You see, because you change the question in the way you are not being intrusive. And most importantly, look, it is our brothers and sisters who are Christians who are more guilty about that than the Muslims. Muslims will tell you that this is what he will do, and he will do it. Okay.
Muslims they also want pewasema on meto ama we are meto at least.
Yes.
Betimi aka no kreka krakyerɛw.
Yes.
But Christopher ne dey obetimi de one on nano afafa ho.
Because I feel say it's not cool. It's not cool to say you vote based on religion. But meanwhile, he will vote because of that in some cases.
Now say the MPP 4 came say Saturday because the kako kebi. Obi say assembly wo hwa yen hyedan kan no sa. But the kako kan ye onunzo at least or a learned person or a researcher or a philosopher. But asem na say ehye ye ho na ye ntimi nka no. The kako kan bi samra no company was say dodo na nkoto because nkremusem no so ka ho wo MPP mu a mo feel say there be de enye Christian na ebe din ba ye ntimi nka ba ono de okokan na say eye no kra dia say ye no kra based on the omukika kai kakra dia na say ebe boa say MPP for be sisa candidate na na.
Look, I have said it before. Sir, if you look at what we are seeing in the data, to be very honest with you, they are between a rock and a hard place. Because the issue of homopathia is a demographic. Demographic make the identity of groups within the MPP. Unless that identity changes, the issue will remain.
They come and tell you.
Let me pass and say demography.
Nipa, maybe a nipa bi wo.
Aha.
Okay.
If there no the reason why there was lower turnout and other factors, the candidate near the same candidate, those issues will not go away.
Okay, dear Emma, Ghana for the Gina so say Yempe Baumiano. Sir, almost had the Baumia Bass, Adia na Nenya dia, ebe free ho, ebedaswa dini dem, and yes, Anaka.
In particular, those who use religion as a basis not to show up to vote or to show up to vote. Those issues, or those people of Sankrofono, the issue will still remain.
Nese omo de Baumia bedu, de osusu se Baumia enye Kristo ni. Anase nkremofo no nso omo susu se Baumia nse da nye kremo papa because ono a ene no nam ha, ochina no nam ha no. Sa de ne still na ebedi ni dem.
Absolutely. And even those who want to vote for him because he's a Muslim will still vote for him because he's a Muslim.
Okay. But say still our own we knew, Anna.
Look, I think the odds are against MPP in 2028.
Still our 2028 and Shedanko is our MPP for.
The odds are against them right now. I don't know whether down the line NDC will mess up and then the dynamics will change. But so far, the trajectory of the race looks very bleak for MPP.
Obe prefer say MPP form for new face apart from Baumia Emra Nemwa woman Nensesa Nyoma because Dr. Brian Agyapong a typical businessman, a Presbyterian or a Christoni. Dr. Yawaduchum, a Pentecostal, omu base, Osakati across as a national appeal, national asset. Can Agyapong Obian is very popular, outspoken, but a grassroots person. Do you think, say, MPP form for new face, Emra, Nemwa Mukakra, 2028?
It is not for me to tell them what to do, Nana Dankwah, and to do Mano. It is for them to look at what is in their best interest. You know, sometimes you have to go beyond where the eyes can see to understand the rationale behind the choice a party makes. Sometimes not everything will be told in public. The reason why they want someone to go. But also what is happening in the dynamics for MPP, Noah. I believe that some are of the opinion, say, look, let's give Bawumia another chance so that we will be seen to have been fair to him, as we were for J. Kufuor and Nanado. Even though none of them lost in the way that Bawumia did, they might be thinking, say, if you boot him out, it could spell a doom for MPP in the northern part of the country. And you don't want the northern part of the country to break away from you because they feel that you have treated them unfairly. So some of these reasons are quite justified. As to what it is born out of reality and just speculation, no data has shown this yet. Maybe in the future we could look at that and see what the effect that might be. But they may have a good reason why they want to present him again.
Finally, almost 2.1 million MPP for Ama Bontia and Kotua Bano. Inti John Mahama Krano, or the Kakrebi Neka who no winnie. Repacho am passe MPP for Am Kotua Banana.
Look, anybody who says 2.1 million MPP people didn't vote is deceiving himself. One, he doesn't understand the numbers, or he doesn't understand numbers. So we need a bar, and then the party in Kwana to Manu. Anamegwa.
Yes.
Mahama Winnie, on your bear 20% of MPP vote. In the next time, so Uncle Twaba now, because the end is for now, Uncle Twaba. There be presidential elections, annual party for Nkwan. NDC for MPP for CDB for party getting now Omukahubi. And now Omuya and Krakra or independent voters. Omukahubi. Omuamanko Twaba. But data you say about 55% of Omuamanko Twabano MPP for 55%. And this way around 10% Omanko Twaba. And around 38 or so floating voters. The same thing Omanko Twaba na Mutumanado. So you can't say MPP for. And indeed, Omo pay by some MPP for. 20% or more at Mahama. If you come by the Greenwa and car, and exactly the proportion will still remain the same. And Kamaji no quite bigger. 1.7 million, Kabe 2.something million gap. Sometimes no munyaika. That is not backed by any data.
Opinion that's it. I mean, sure.
Mr. Medasi.
Musah Dankwah, Executive Director, Global Info Analytics.